Okay, good evening, everybody. We're going to call our council meeting to order tonight. I have a roll call by our city clerk, Kathy Valdez.
The record shall reflect that all members are present.
If you all rise, we're going to have a Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilmember Green.
Please remove your hats and hoods. Put your right hand over your heart. Repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, in accordance with the Brown Act, I'd like to announce that as a result of convening simultaneous meetings, the members of the Buena Sanitation District will receive compensation of $147.75 for the district meeting pursuant to Buena Sanitation District Ordinance 2006-1. I'd like to remind everyone that the Vista Municipal Code requires members of the public to observe order and decorum at the meeting and to conduct themselves in a courteous manner. The ordinance was adopted to allow for public input and to facilitate city business without disruption of the meeting. Applause is appropriate for items listed under the presentation portion of the agenda only. Attendees should remain seated during the meeting, and persons needing to stand are requested to step outside the City Council chambers where video and audio of the meeting are playing. This is also listed on our agenda cover sheet. Students wishing to receive credit for attending this evening's meeting must stay for a minimum of 1 hour. Do we have students tonight? Any students? Oh, yeah, we do have some. Okay. So you have to stay for a minimum of 1 hour. However, we ask that you stay for the completion of an item rather than leaving in the middle of a discussion. When you're ready to leave, you can ask one of the sheriff deputies or a staff member in the back of the room to sign your paper. So I'm addressing the City Council to speak for 3 minutes on an item on the agenda. To speak for 3 minutes on an item on the agenda, please fill out a speaker slip with the number of the item you want to speak on and give it to the the City Clerk Secretary. Speaker slips are available just outside the council chambers. We're going to have the approval of the agenda by City Manager Patrick Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. There are no deletions or additions tonight.
Okay, we have a presentation, I think is what they call it, by Deputy Mayor Franklin.
And Madam Mayor, if you and the council would join me down at the rostrum. Okay. As Deputy Mayor, I don't get to do a lot of fun things, but I have the distinct privilege of joining my colleagues this evening and honoring our distinguished mayor. This past Saturday, the Women's Club of Vista recognized Mayor Ritter with the Women's Club of Vista 2018 Woman of the Year Award for her leadership in our community. Mayor Ritter has dedicated over 21 years to public service, including serving on regional committees such as the Sandag Board of Directors, Sandag Transportation and Planning Committees, the North County Transit District Board of Directors, the North County Regional Gang Task Force, and the North County Mayor's Innovate 78 Partnership. Mayor Ritter has also been involved in community programs such as the Boys and Girls Club Board of Directors, the Vista Community Clinic Board of Trustees, the Solutions for Change Leadership Board, and all of us on the Vista City Council would like to congratulate the mayor on her award and on her many years of steadfast commitment to our community. In recognition of the honor that was bestowed upon her, we'd like to honor her with this proclamation that declares today, March 12th, as Mayor Judy Ritter Day in the City of Vista.
I'm so embarrassed. I don't like recognition, so I'm so embarrassed to do this. But I'm very grateful. And there were two other women that were recognized with me, and one was Kathy Brombacher, who has started the most amazing Moonlight Amphitheater here in Vista, which is one of my very favorite things. And so she was recognized with me, and also was Carol Herrera, who was a principal for many years and was on the school board for many years, and she touched a lot of children's lives who are our future leaders and our future mayors and our future council members. So I was very honored to be recognized along with them, but I was honored to be the Woman of the Year. So thank you so very much.
Let's take a picture. There you go.
I do a lot of these for other people.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Okay, whew, we made it through that. Okay. Next thing on our agenda is our consent calendar. The recommendations on the following consent calendar will be enacted in one motion unless an item is removed from the calendar. Any member of the public can remove an item by submitting a request to speak card to the clerk's secretary, and items removed from the consent calendar will be considered immediately following the adoption of the calendar. And we have 6 consent items this evening, and do I have any from the public? Nothing from the public. Anything pulled from the council? Yes? Oh, sorry, Councilmember Contreras.
I just want to point out one thing on C1, the check register. So I would like to pull it. Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Rigby is going to pull C4. So with that, I look for a motion for the balance of the consent calendar.
So moved. Second.
Everyone, please pass your votes. That motion passes unanimously. So the first one is Councilmember Contreras. We'll let you go with the check register.
Okay, I just want to make a quick point here. Our top 20 vendors on the check register, if you look at number 9, we paid San Diego Gas and Electric $102,977.41. So that is an increase over the last time that we had this item in front of us, which was for November utilities. Looks like this is December. And last time it was a little over 98,000. So just want to highlight that. It's a large quantity of money, and I look forward to further discussions on how to reduce that bill so we can be better stewards of the public's money. With that, I would like to make a motion to pass C1 as is.
Okay, do I have a second for that?
I'll second.
Okay, please cast your votes on that one. That motion passes unanimously. So I'll turn it over to Councilmember Rigby on C4, which is Solutions for Change Campus Expansion.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I don't think I need particularly a full-blown report. This is coming back to us in this iteration because when we talked about it the last time and we gave direction to staff to enter into this project, not everything went as we anticipated that it would initially. Am I correct?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. So I appreciate all of the hard work that you've done and staff on this project, and going down into the weeds on this and finding out where the errors were, where the problems are, and what, if anything, can be done about it. And having read through the staff report and knowing that we're going to be trying to work into this agreement and get our way through all of the problems that this project presented that we did not know about when we talked about it the last time. Before it's a final thing, it will be coming back to us for final approval, and we will be updated along the way. I just want to make sure that that is noted out loud. So thank you for that. But I will not be the one who moves this one forward.
I'll move to approve item C4 as presented.
Have a second? You have a motion and a second? Deputy Mayor, did you want to say something? No, okay. That motion passes 4-1. So the next thing on our agenda are our public hearings. Looks like we have one public hearing this evening. It's a Central Vista Business Improvement District annual levy, and Economic Director Kevin Ham will introduce the item.
Good evening, Mayor and members of the Council. With me is Jennifer Shinnick, our Economic Development Specialist, and she'll give the presentation this evening.
Good evening. This public hearing is being held to confirm the Central Vista Business Improvement District annual report for the 2019-2020 fiscal year. All assessments, boundaries, and programs remain unchanged for the upcoming fiscal year. If no majority protest exists from those being assessed, the proposed assessment can be approved through the adoption of the attached resolution. Staff recommends approving the attached resolution confirming the annual report and levying assessment for the 2019-2020 fiscal year. Kevin Ham, Dave Lowen, the CVBID Advisory Board Chair, and I are available to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Okay, do you want to hear from the two speakers?
Yes. Sure.
Okay, it would be, first one is Julie Lowen. And after Julie Lowen is Cliff Kaiser. Good evening.
Hi, City Council. So, Julie Lowen here representing Children's Paradise Preschool and Infant Centers, who has a beautiful training center on Main Street in the building owned by the 211 and 221 Main Street LLC, which is a part of our family trust. So, kind of representing a couple of different entities. I rise in support of the bid fees for now. But I want to talk to the City Council about kind of where we need to go from here. There have been a lot of things happen. At one point, I know Mayor Ritter served on the VVBA with a group of community leaders, and it was at a very effective organization at spending the money. Over the years, you know, as I became involved, I moved downtown, I became aware of it. You know that Dave was involved. It was a little bit more of a frustrating process. And I think it's probably because there are a lot of people at the table, a lot of very small businesses looking to survive with money, you know, happening downtown and needing marketing and needing communications and all the things for their little businesses. And then alternate competing interests in the downtown. What that kind of created was kind of a little bit of a dysfunctional, funky atmosphere down there, but I think the people involved were well-meaning, and I don't think anybody really intended to do a bad thing. I think they all just had differing opinions, and it was kind of difficult to, you know, scatter. Once the ants are scattered, they're kind of scattered, and it's hard to get everybody to line up again. But what I'd like the council to think about is I'd like you to kind of attach to a dream. So the building downtown, I first came upon that building when I was about 9 years old, when my parents signed the loan to purchase our home on Maryland Drive in Vista that took us out of homelessness. I came to Vista without shoes and living in a little travel trailer with 7 kids and 2 parents and hungry and tired and all of that. And the Blackingtons and Valley Center took me in and helped my parents get on their feet. So that bank is really important. It just was like a pivotal moment in my life I'll never forget. And to be able to buy it this last year was just, I cried. I cried the day I moved my offices in there, and I cried the day I bought it. My dream for the downtown is a vital place that works together as a team. It's a place that has a town square where people know that they can come and gather as community. It's a place that we know we can do a farmer's market, that we know we can have special events. And in order to do that, it's going to take more than small grants. It's a great plan for the short term, but I think it needs a comprehensive plan. And I would like to ask the city to kind of look at the downtown a little bit differently and prioritize that area. Right now, it kind of is a place for a lot of businesses. A lot of small business have invested like literally their entire life savings. If we lose what we've invested, we lose our homes, we lose our lives. I think that's true for pretty much most of the restaurants down there. And I ask that our city council respect that and really recognize it's time to come into the downtown with a prepared plan. I need you to wrap up, Julie. I will. Come into the downtown with a prepared plan that really prioritizes downtown, maybe similar to Little Italy, something like that. But as of this point, I do support the bid fee. Thank you.
Thank you. Cliff Kaiser.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I've been intimately involved with the downtown, as you know, as a leader on the board and their board president for a time, and active in the Vista business community for several years as well, including chairman of the Vista Chamber. So I have a lot of challenges with continuing to levy the bid fees as they're presented, primarily because the bid is broken down into 3 zones. Zone A, which is Main Street, the new Sinopolis area and the historic downtown, and Zone B, which is on the fringes of that, and Zone C is further down on South Santa Fe. A couple statistics for you to think about. Zone A pays nearly 80% of the fees, the bid fees. That leaves B and C with the remaining 21%. Retail establishments in that area and restaurants pay 55% of those fees. The question that comes, what is the value to Zone A bid payers, fee payers, of the very large districts or the large businesses on the fringe? We can talk about Lowe's, Bevmo, U.S. Bank, Staples, North County Ford, Chili's, those kind of companies that are out there on the fringe. They're larger companies. And the argument that I've heard is, well, they never even notice the $700 that they're paying or whatever that fee is because they're such a big company. The other question is what is the value to Zones B and C bid payers? Those on the outside of Zone A and further down South Santa Fe. Zone B and C pay the 21%. These include people like Guy Blubber, Altura Paint, Vista Plumbing, Partake, 508 Brewery, and then Zone B will be the only company that I could find in that area that has any notoriety is the new Norm Reeves Honda dealer that's coming in. So what value are those Zone B and C businesses actually getting from paying their bid fees? So I would encourage you to consider suspending the bid fees for a year for Zone B and C. Let Zone A pay for this new experimental grant program, which I think is a good idea. Low overhead, let people be creative on bringing art and events to downtown. But until those other zones become effective or get return on that investment, I would consider at least a year saying we're not going to charge those guys. And the people that are going to be approving the events are the 7 board members of the advisory board. 2 of those are not in the bid. 4 of those are in Zone A, and 1 is in Zone C. So again, it's slanted heavily towards Zone A, and the rest of the 2 zones don't have a lot of input to making those decisions or recommendations. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that's all of our speakers. Deputy Mayor Franklin.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that, first off, thank you to both of our speakers for being with us tonight and sharing their thoughts and their leadership on these issues. I agree that this is something we're going to want to pay close attention to. This is a good proposal from staff, but it's certainly different than the original purpose. And I just want to say for myself, I take laying a tax, even a voluntary one like this, on any business owner very seriously, and absolutely committed to making sure that those business owners receive return on investment and value for that fee. So we will watch this very closely. But with that, I would also make a motion to close the public hearing and to approve the item in front of us.
Councilmember Green.
Question I have, I guess, for either staff or for Mr. Lowen, since you guys are intimately connected to the bid district, how many businesses or business owners, rather, in zones B and C have contacted us over the, say, past 24 months complaining about the fee they're paying and what they're getting out of that fee? So say 2 businesses and how many are in that district. So kind of what I'm wondering is what's the percentage of business owners? Because I understand what Mr. Kaiser said. I'm just wondering, is that actually an issue that they're banging down our door saying, hey, we don't want to pay this fee anymore? I just haven't heard it. So I wanted to check with people who are connected to those businesses in particular.
Personally, none that I can remember over that time period. None.
Okay. With that, I would second the motion, and I know.
Councilmember Contreras.
Thank you, Councilmember Green. I wanted to pose the same question because, it is a serious thing when you put a fee on a business and you say, listen, this is what we're going to do with that. And with the ups and downs that have occurred over the past years, I understand that there's a little bit of frustration. But, we're talking about the business community, and usually the business community is extremely active and quick to let us know of issues. So to me, it's just very interesting that we haven't received any complaints whatsoever. And I wanted to pose the same question because I was like, did I miss something in my email? I just haven't received any kind of negative feedback about these fees. So I think if we're not receiving anything and no one is coming to speak about it, then it kind of illustrates where we're at. And I think that is that the business community is saying, listen, we're going to go along with these fees with the hope that, this new type of grant process, does create some really cool events downtown that are attracting more people. And, we're talking about different scales of events. And I think we really do need to start looking at beyond, the $49,000, $50,000, because that's not that much money. So I completely agree that we need a comprehensive plan to really spur downtown, because like I said before, business cannot be sustained with just 2 really good days of business, being Friday and Saturdays. So, but if there's no one coming to us and telling us that this is a negative thing, then I think we're just going to keep moving forward and doing what we can to be innovative downtown with those funds from this fee. And that's all I have to say.
Councilmember Rigby.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I've talked about this before, the same point that Mr. Kaiser has brought up about the outlying, the farthest most outlying areas not having a lot of benefit from the monies that they pay. Whether it's a large sum of money or a small sum of money shouldn't be the point. The point is they're putting good money into something that they're not really seeing a lot of benefit for. I know that we've revamped a few things this past year. I understand that. My ask here is that, because I have asked before, what are we doing for those outlying areas? How are they benefiting from what money they do put in? And nobody's really been able to give an example, a concrete example of something that they are benefiting, how it's helping them. Unlike downtown, historic downtown, you can identify different ways that those businesses are benefiting. So I would like to see us make a concerted effort into doing more for the outlying businesses who are paying into this fund. I also would like to see more of the representation of the outlying areas on the board. So those are some of the things that I would like to see that we look at now and into the next year before this comes back to us again. I think it needs, like I said, I understand we're changing it up. I think this is the perfect time to actually revamp it and make it something better than it is and something that works for everybody. So just putting that out there. Thank you.
Councilmember Green.
Just one more thing. I just wanted to say that I do agree with Councilwoman Rigby on that. And I know that in your grant process, you'll be looking at, hey, how do these affect the different zones? So we're definitely looking forward to seeing how we can help those outlying areas. And I actually think the grant process is going to be much more conducive to helping those outlying areas because they're not relying on 4 big events. So hopefully that will definitely help, and know that we'd love to see it. So thank you so much.
I think there's a lot, like on South Santa Fe, a lot is changing. That will be a whole different thing down there, and different stores will come in. We see a rebirth coming down there of different things. And when you look at the outlying district, there's Chili's right on the very edge over there. There's Raising Cane's, there's Staples. People come to Fraser Farms. When people do a thing in the downtown, I'm speaking to because I was on the, Vista Village Association for a long time. But when people come into town to downtown, they don't just come there. They spread out throughout town. They go to the restaurants and they go, they might shop at Fraser Farms while they're here. They might go to dinner at Chili's. They might go to, they see Norm Reeves. They might buy a new car. They might go to the Chevy place, and there's Wendy's down there. There's Denny's down there. So there are places down there that benefit. They will benefit. Maybe the thing isn't right there, whatever the activity is, but it benefits the whole town when they do that. It's kind of like when the night of the moonlight, all the restaurants get busy because people come into town and they eat all over. So I think, just because you have a activity in one area doesn't mean that that's the area that everybody goes to. So that's my opinion. So with that, we have a motion and a second, and we cast your votes, please. That motion passes 4-1. That takes us to our discussion items. There are 3 discussion items this evening. The first one is D1, appointments to various city commissions, boards, and committees. Our city clerk, Kathy Valdez, is going to introduce that item.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the City Council. This item is to approve the recommendations for appointments to various commissions, boards, and committees by Mayor Ritter, Deputy Mayor Franklin, and Councilmember Contreras, as identified in the agenda and also in accordance with our City Council policies. Thank you.
Okay, with that, how do we want to do this? Oh, Councilmember Green. That was last time? Oh, was Councilmember Franklin last time too?
No, I'd like to speak.
Calling you guys?
No, I pushed my button this time.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just wanted to thank the many citizens from District 4 and the city who came forward to apply and interview, who came to meet with me to talk about the role of our boards and commissions. And for District 4, I'd just like to briefly thank Thomas Holland for his willingness to serve on the Cdbg Advisory Board, Aaron Bizak, who's accepting an appointment to the Community Safety Commission, Norm Hollis, who's going to continue his excellent service on the Parks and Recreation Commission. I call Norm Mr. Vista. And Buddy McCamey, who's going to serve on the Public Arts Commission, Barry Richmond, who will serve on the Sales Tax Oversight Committee, Francis Doomler, who will continue his good service on the Seniors Commission, and Ed Matthews, who will serve on the Traffic Commission. Thank you to all of you who served the city and those who have served the city in the past on our boards and commissions. For those of you who may not know, our board members and commissioners serve as a free service to our city, and they invest a lot of time and energy in helping make our city a better place in so many ways, and we really appreciate your dedication and willingness to spend time in service of the city and your fellow residents. Thank you.
Did you want to make a motion to
And I would
pass
make a motion
just to pass your part? And
Sure, I could make a motion just to pass my recommendations.
well, yeah, go ahead. Okay, so we'll vote, maybe we'll do it like that. Okay. So please cast your votes on that. For District 4. That motion passes unanimously for District 4. Do you want me to go next? I'll do the, a lot of my people have actually that I appointed were previously on the commissions. Bonnie Glasgow for the CDBG. Roger Mayton was on a different committee, but we're putting him on Community Safety Commission. Stephen Rhodes, who has actually served for several years on Parks and Recreation. Charles Grimm, he's served on the Planning Commission already, has served there. DJ Summit on Public Arts. Bonnie Glasgow on Sales Tax Oversight Committee. Mimi Wong Titus is on the Senior Affairs, and James Howell on Traffic Commission. So I would make a motion for that to for my group. Second. Okay, in a second. Okay, so please pass your votes. Okay, that motion passes unanimously. So then I would put it to Councilmember Contreras.
So this is an amazing opportunity for our residents to really get involved with the city. And it's a responsibility that I take seriously in making sure that I reviewed all the applications and I brought in a lot of individuals to interview. And it was really great to get different perspectives, and thank you everybody who was part of this process, and let more people know that there are different places for you to volunteer your time and really make a difference here in the city of Vista. Now looking at the CDBG Advisory Board, my nomination is Tazeen Nizam. I am reappointing Carl Redding to the Community Safety Commission. For Parks and Recreation, my nomination is Philip Church. For Planning Commission, I'm nominating Beth Hastings. For Public Arts Commission, I am reappointing Sarah Spinks. For Sales Tax Oversight Committee, I am nominating Melissa Bailey. For Senior Citizens Affairs Commission, I am nominating Elisa Jimenez. And for Traffic Commission, I am nominating David Sanchez. With that, I make a motion to approve these nominations.
I'll second our motion.
Councilmember Rigby.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have our boards and commissions and our committees as an arm of the city and the city council. They do a lot of the work for the city. They are put out there to put forth the vision that the city council has put out there, and they represent the city. It's behavior unbecoming for a commissioner to put themselves and their business out there in the forefront above the city, and to use their title and their position as a commissioner in advocating or sponsoring or trying to advocate for their business or for something else. And we have had somebody that has done that, and that, to me, is a violation of the public trust and a violation of the trust of the position. Whether the person does a lot of good in the community otherwise, that can be argued one way or the other. But for me to have a commissioner who puts themselves out there using the title as a commissioner to advocate for other things that the city is not advocating, for things that might go actually against the benefit of the city and the people of the city, that gives me a lot of heartburn. So I cannot support these nominations. So I'm going to be voting no.
So then I guess I would say, okay. So then I guess please cast your votes. That motion fails. So where do we go with that? We don't know. Maybe we bring the item back, talk about it and bring the item back. Councilmember Green, do you have?
I was just going to say if there's any way to reach a consensus, if there's particular commissioners, or is that something that we don't go through the particular appointments on the dais? I just wasn't sure how much we could possibly accomplish now and then maybe bring something back later, if that's feasible, or how we would handle it.
Can we do, as a personnel, I don't know if it's considered personnel, is that a closed session discussion? No? Okay. Wasn't sure. Asking for clarification.
I got you. And I know all these positions are positions that do demand a lot of work, and I'd like to respect my council members who interviewed them, but at the same token, I definitely understand that if people are putting their position and making statements that aren't becoming of the city, that's something that definitely should also be addressed. But like I say, if there's any, when I look at her list of commissioners, I did go over them with the city manager as far as there are some that aren't in particular districts, and the way that this is working for the community who doesn't know is the council members in District 1 and District 4 are interviewing members of their district who actually apply and appointing them. Some of the council members, or the appointments rather, in District 1 are from other districts. In some cases, there were no applicants in those particular districts. So I wanted to make sure that we at least know that, because that was my concern, is I was like, hey, if there's District 1 people who applied, shouldn't we have district people in those positions? Because we broke this down into districts so we could have the microcosm of representation, which is why we're all elected to districts these days. So.
And only I appoint citywide from any district, right?
Exactly. So that's what I wanted to figure out is because when I think that, you know, if I'm not mistaken, it's probably the Public Arts Commissioner that we're having a problem with appointing, or is there more than that one in particular? Council member, am I allowed to ask that?
Maybe we can. How about we just bring it back?
The whole thing?
I think it'd be best to bring it back. I think that'd be the best answer.
So in that case, does that mean that this pushes forward the training and whatnot for the commissioners? So that moves that whole schedule, doesn't it?
I don't think we would move the whole schedule, but I would say that if the council chooses and they want to bring this back to the next meeting in March, which we do have a training set up prior to that, we'd go forward with the training as is, and if we need to retrain or train new members, we can do that. But if the council would like to bring it back at that meeting, I wouldn't postpone the training at all, just because we have so many other commissioners that are coming in for that the date's already been scheduled. I mean, the two options are to have a discussion or to...
I think we should just discuss it, because we need to get this moving. These are important positions, and this process was created so that representatives from whichever district are able to make sure that their districts have representation on these commissions. I cannot offer new names for this unless I know what the issue is. So I would like my colleagues to discuss who it is that they have an issue with. Are we talking about multiple people? Are we talking about everybody that I have picked just because I picked them? You know, I want to know, and I think the public deserves to know.
Councilmember Rigby.
It certainly is not because you picked them. That would, and that's a little offensive that you would say that.
Okay.
Because that's not even close. My issue is with Sarah Spinks on the Public Arts Commission. And that would be one that I would be adamantly opposed to. So if I'm happy to move that we approve the rest of your list, taking out the Public Arts Commission.
Is that the same for the rest of my colleagues that oppose this list? Or are there others that you take issue with?
No, I'm.
I'd second your motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second on that to approve the balance of minus the Art Commission, right? Yeah. Okay, we can do that. Okay, please vote on the balance of.
So I just want to make sure. So we are voting on the remaining nominations. We're going to move forward, and we're going to bring Public Arts Commission back as a discussion item in the future.
Or you can bring back another person.
Which would mean Councilwoman Contreras, if she would like to bring back a different name, could do so, and then it would be discussed before the City Council.
Okay.
Okay, so please cast your votes on that.
I do, but I want this discussion to happen.
Okay, that motion passes unanimously. So the next discussion item is our fiscal year 2018-19 second quarter financial report. Our new finance director, Mike Sylvia, will introduce the item. Welcome.
Green button.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Joining me is Harvey Olsink. He actually authored this report prior to my arrival, but I'm going to go ahead and give the presentation really quick. The fiscal year 2018-19 second quarter report provides a summary and comparison of the general fund budget to actual results, and the report includes proposed operating and capital budget adjustments for the second quarter. General fund revenues and expenditures are consistent with budgetary expectations for the second quarter, and it should be noted that significant amounts of cash receipts are not received evenly throughout the year. Therefore, wouldn't be reasonable to expect we'd be at 50% at that time. There are 6 budget amendments requested as explained in detail in Exhibit 2 on page 8 of the agenda report. All of the adjustments do not have a significant impact on the general fund or the other funds that are affected. And therefore, the recommendation is to receive and file the report for the fiscal year 2018-19 second quarter financial report and adopt the resolution of the City Council amending the operating and capital budgets. We are available for questions as needed.
Councilmember Franklin, Deputy Mayor. Are this from last time? These?
No, it's from this time. Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I welcome first to the City of Vista. We're glad to have you. And I want to thank staff for giving us a thorough briefing on the quarterly financial report previously and walking us through the amendments that are requested. So with that, I would make a motion to receive the report and to approve the measure presented by staff.
I'll second that. Councilmember Rigby.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Took my thunder.
Oh,
I just
was that what you were going to do?
I just want to say good job on the report, as always, and welcome. It's very nice to have you with us.
Okay, with that, I see no more discussion, so we will cast our votes. That motion passes unanimously. The next item, D3, is offshore oil drilling. Deputy Mayor Franklin asked for this item to be placed on the agenda, so he's going to introduce the item.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It's my pleasure to bring a resolution forward this evening that was actually the idea for which was given to me by one of my constituents who's here this evening. Stephanie, thank you for bringing this item to me and for your activism on behalf of our city and our environment. Several of our neighboring cities have adopted resolutions expressing an opinion opposing drilling off of our coast. And I think the resolution, which I adapted, I think, to the city of Vista, to be concise and to call out the points that I think we all agree on, which is that our coastline is unspoiled and that all of us are concerned about our coastal environment. We are all concerned about our coastal habitat and wildlife, and we all share a concern about any potential threat to that wildlife or habitat. And so I think it is important that we raise our voices and express that concern. And with that, I would make a motion to adopt the resolution in order under this item.
Councilmember Green and then Councilmember Contreras, and then we have 9 speakers.
Sorry, my microphone on button wasn't working. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I just want to commend Deputy Mayor Franklin on putting this together and actually putting a resolution on the agenda. I was excited to see it on there, and I definitely am excited that our voice will be heard and that we'll be standing with our coastal neighbors and saying, hey, we got your back. So great job. Thank you. I will be seconding this and approving this.
Councilmember Contreras.
I also want to thank Deputy Mayor Franklin. I think this is really great that we're having this discussion. I know that some of the discussion out there is, well, Vista doesn't have a coastline, so why are we looking at this? I totally get that. But I, like so many people, grew up where I feel like I lived my summers in Oceanside because we were at the beach all the time. And when I was in school in Santa Barbara, seeing those oil rigs out there and knowing the history of the oil spill that happened and the continuing seepage of the tar, which they say is natural, but it's kind of suspicious, right? And I am really excited. I first found out about this thanks to Brady Bradshaw from Oceana, and then spoke with him and with Katie, who is also a constituent. And I really am excited that we're taking up this discussion and being a leader along with our other cities, including some of them, that aren't on the coast, like Escondido. The county of San Diego supports this. And I'm really excited to hear what our speakers have to say. But I think, can all agree up here that the ocean plays a huge part in our economy. And so when people go to visit the ocean, sometimes they stay here in Vista because we have some cool stuff to do here. And then the ocean's just a few minutes down on the freeway. So I'm 100% in favor of this. We can't continue to drill offshore and really put our coastline and our wildlife and our pristine economic engine of an ocean in peril like that. So thank you again, Deputy Mayor Franklin, for putting this on.
Councilmember Rigby, do you want to speak now, or I have 10 speakers?
Well, let's go ahead and hear the 10
Have you
speakers.
heard the speakers? Okay.
Yeah.
We'll start, and each of you has 3 minutes. So, and I'm going to have you. I'll call one name, and then if the other two would line up on the side over here, so we can keep moving along, it would be appreciated. So I start with Kathleen Gerard, and followed by Brady Bradshaw, and followed by Kathleen Boyle. So if Kathleen will come up to speak, and then the other two will line up over there. I appreciate that.
Hi, thank you for having us all speak today. I am a fisheries biologist, and I've worked all over the country. I did my master's down in Mexico with Scripps, and I've worked in Alaska and the Northeast, and I also worked in Louisiana for 5 years on a barrier island called Grand Isle, and it was very hard hit by the oil spill. I don't know if you guys watched the news on that. It was pretty bad there. And there are many reasons you don't want to have an oil-based economy here. It's not just the obvious environmental impacts that it has, but also the boom and bust industry is not good for local economies. Like it causes lots of local businesses to go out of business and start up and go out, and it really creates not the kind of economy that you have created here. Like, I love the local economy here. I love the local businesses. It's a really great place to live. And another reason is there are a lot of I love Louisiana, and it's a great place to go visit, and it's really fun, but there are also a lot of drugs that come in and a lot of alcoholism and that kind of thing that comes in along with those kinds of industries where people are offshore for many months at a time, and having that kind of encouragement here in the local communities is not really something I want to go back to and see again and live in again. So that's why I would hope that you would vote yes for this to not allow offshore drilling. So thank you.
Thank you. Brady Bradshaw, followed by Kathleen Boyle, followed by Merrill Leeds.
Thank you, City Council, and thank you, Deputy Mayor Franklin, for bringing this item to the agenda. My name is Brady Bradshaw. I'm the campaign organizer for Oceana in San Diego County. So I've had the pleasure of being in a county and working with many elected officials who have stood powerfully together across party lines, across cities, across distances from the coast, in vocal opposition, at least, to an extreme and dangerous plan to drill, which currently includes any and all coasts off of California. I'm coming to you today to follow the leadership of passionate and well-educated Vista residents. It's clear to me that community groups like South Vista Communities and many Vista residents care deeply about the stability and long-term health of this community. They go to river cleanups, they think critically, they talk to their neighbors about the issues that affect them, and they stand up for what's right. They decided that the federal government's radical plan to drill off the county coastline should be stopped, and that the city of Vista, as a stakeholder, should pass a resolution. I'm going to cut this down because I know we have a lot of speakers, but I wanted to just bring up that Mayor Ritter brought up a great point about attracting customers to nearby businesses. And when people come to the coast, of course, they can end up staying in hotels nearby. People could end up eating at seafood restaurants that could be affected by an oil spill. And we've seen a lot of that. There's a report after the BP spill happened, what happened to tourism off the coast, in the coast of the Gulf of Mexico, and numbers just plummeted. Even as far as a couple cities away from the coastline, tourism numbers dropped, and that's something I really don't want to see happen here, because I know that Vista is proud of what we have going, and that it's a forward-moving community that plans to continue the powerful economy and the powerful the natural beauty of the place that we live. Environmentally, there's so many dangers to offshore drilling that come with a spill. In the ocean, oil goes everywhere, and it affects everything. But even if we were to affect only one species, the effects could be devastating to many other species in our coastal ecosystems. Just as removing a brick from a brick wall would weaken the integrity of that brick wall. Removing a species from the local ecosystem can throw the whole system off of balance. These effects are not separate from our daily lives. People who enjoy local seafood, people who travel the 78 to work in a tourism job or just to visit, just because they enjoy the beach. This isn't isolated to just the coastline. So the approaching comment period gives Vista the opportunity to become the 90th municipality to take such an action. And I hope that you will join with the rest of California in opposing this plan.
Thank you. Kathleen Boyle, followed by Merrill Leeds, followed by Mary Gilman.
Hi, good evening. We have some anniversaries that I think haven't been fully celebrated, not all good ones. It's the 50th anniversary of what Councilmember Contreras was mentioning. The Santa Barbara oil spill was 50 years ago. It was January 28th, 1969. And the effects were felt from Pismo Beach down to the Mexican border. Nixon was the president. He came to California and he typically walked on the beach with his suit and tie and dress shoes, and got his shoes all oily. But he realized that this became a turning point. There was a magazine article that said it's still the worst California spill. The magazine title was "It Turned the Beaches Black and the Nation Green." It started a lot of legislation that hadn't been put through up until then. Earth Day started after that, not just because of that, but that was part of it. Also the EPA. And Nixon realized that his rich supporters in Santa Barbara, and there were many of them, would go to the ends of the earth and support him for Vietnam, but don't get oil on my beaches. So he saw that it behooved him to. So that's our golden anniversary. We have a 30th anniversary, which is Pearl, of the Exxon Valdez. This is coming up in a few days, 324. This was in 1989. It ruined a beautiful bay. I've been there, and I was there 15 years later. There was still oil. Valdez is the most gorgeous city. It covered 1,300 miles of shore. It's the second business in the U.S. To date. And our third anniversary well is only 9 years, and it's not happening till April, is the Deepwater Horizon, which is our worst. And that was the British Petroleum in the Gulf of Mexico. 11 people were killed as part of that. 68,000 square miles were covered with oil. And because this drilling was done at it was out in the Gulf, at a very extreme depth called the deep sea. So for years and years, scientists were discovering more and more things that have been affected by this very deep spill. They still don't know the long-term effects of that spill, and we're coming up on 10 years, only 10 years. So there's the Murphy Law and there's a Titanic Law. If something can go wrong, it will. Only with the Titanic Law, people die, and it's worse. So human error, hubris, whatever it is, we have San Onofre as a very bad model. We have the Keystone Pipeline as a bad model. We cannot allow drilling off our coast. Thank you.
Thank you. Merrill Leeds, followed by Mary Gilman, followed by Nikki Leeds.
Good evening, Council. My name is Merrill Leeds, and I would like to thank Deputy Mayor Franklin for introducing Agenda Item D3 in favor of adopting a resolution to protect our coast from offshore oil and gas drilling and exploration. Thank you. You have listened to concerned members of the community, and for that we are grateful. As an avid body surfing enthusiast growing up in Southern California, I personally witnessed the disastrous effects from the Santa Barbara oil spill of 1969, which became known as the environmental shot heard around the world. This single event launched environmental movements and led to a wave of nationwide environmental laws. Here and now, exactly 50 years later, we are facing the choice of whether or not to stand together in protecting our treasured California coast and all of its inhabitants. So I would like to lay out 4 of the most important reasons in favor of approving Mr. Franklin's agenda item. 1, our climate crisis. Science has unequivocally determined that we must stop dumping 110 million tons of CO2 into the atmosphere each day in order to avert a planetary catastrophe. Number 2, domestic oil spills are among the most egregious environmental disasters in U.S. history, and 1.3 million gallons of petroleum continue to be spilled into U.S. waters from pipelines and vessels every year. Number 3, many of the new proposed offshore leases are in protected and sensitive habitats, which are already becoming adversely affected by rising ocean temperatures and increasing pollution. And number 4, renewables are now cheaper. The levelized cost of energy from solar and wind generation is now lower than all conventional fossil energy technologies, and prices continue to drop dramatically. In other words, the only winners with offshore drilling are the fossil fuel industry billionaires. Based on these and other compelling reasons, nearly 70% of all Californians don't want new drilling. In addition, more than 330 municipalities and over 2,100 elected officials have formally opposed offshore drilling, including nearly all of the governors along the east and west coasts. I therefore urge the City of Vista to stand in solidarity with our neighboring communities and unanimously endorse this important resolution. By doing so, you will not only be promoting the will of your constituents, you will also be setting a new example of compassion for our endangered oceans and future generations of body surfing enthusiasts. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Gilman, followed by Nikki Leeds, followed by Leah Strell.
Hi, good evening. I, too, would like to thank you and appreciate you bringing this forward, Councilmember Franklin. And I think everyone before me has pretty much covered the bases and how important this is to our whole region and to the whole country to protect our shores from not only the risks associated with human error, but equipment failures, and we've seen it all. And so, it's very important, and I do appreciate and support you in this. So thank you.
Thank you. Nikki Leeds, followed by Leah Strill, followed by Kathy Bagwell.
You should all have one of these. So I yield my time. Thank you so much.
Oh, that's all. You just gave us this piece of paper. That's all you want to do? Oh, okay. Leah Strell, followed by Kathy Bagwell, followed by Stephanie Jackal.
Hello. And I'm saying hello to you, council members and Mayor Judy Ritter. And recently, I had the privilege to be trained by Al Gore as a climate reality leader, along with 2,000 other people in Los Angeles. And it was quite an experience. It was grueling, and I'm not going to speak on any of the grueling issues we have in front of us. The takeaways. The Stone Age did not end because we ran out of stones. Something better came along. 2, the coal industry, the coal museum in Kentucky is now powered by solar because it's less expensive. That made me very happy to know that. Fox News. And the third takeaway is to help drive policy. And I'm an artist, and this is very unusual for me to be talking to you all here. And Al Gore said to be creative, drive policy, and make some noise. And that's what I'm here for, just to help drive the policy in the best way we can for future generations. Thank you.
Thank you. Kathy Bagwell, followed by Stephanie Jackal, followed by Katsuyo Fukuyama.
Good evening, Mayor Ritter and council members. I'll be pretty brief. I will just commend everyone who has spoken so eloquently on this subject. And we had the pleasure, and thank you very much, each one of you, for meeting with Stephanie Jekyll and myself. Sorry, couldn't meet with you, John, that day, to hear our take on this very important subject. So I won't belabor what I said, but I will have a follow-up because I mentioned that I had a home in Oxnard for 5 years and really avoided going down to the beach much of the time because you had to watch where you walked, because of the globs of tar from the drilling up in Santa Barbara. And it's been since 2007 since I've been out there, but I did contact a friend of mine, and it has not changed much. So it does, and part of that is because there is seepage. It's not just from the oil wells, there is seepage, yes. But part of that is because when they do the drilling, the seismic air guns do the drilling, they have to drill many, many places to find a pocket of oil. And those things aren't really capped well, so there is seepage that comes up for sure. But what happens from the oil rigs is a big, big part of it. And so if they're drilling off of our coast, they're going to drill many, many places trying to find some place that there's a pocket of oil. So we're going to have seepage one way or the other, and it's just going to foul our beaches. So everyone, again, has spoken eloquently about the reasons that we really, really want this resolution to go through. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Kathy. Stephanie Jackel, followed by Katsuyo Fukuyama, followed by Suzanne Hume.
Good evening, and thank you very much. I'd especially like to thank Deputy Mayor Franklin for bringing this resolution to you. And as Kathy Bagwell mentioned, thanks to each of you for spending the time with us. South Vista Communities obviously supports this wholeheartedly. And why do we do that? Well, we were organized in 2006, and beginning that year and twice a year for the following 13 years, we have participated gladly with the City of Vista's twice yearly cleanup of Buena Creek. We do that to make our own community cleaner, of course, but the end reason for the cleanup is to keep all that trash out of our creeks and waterways and our oceans. You know the bad effects that come from oil drilling. Nothing about that is good. And we hope you will approve the resolution and join the other cities who oppose it. Thank you.
Thank you. Katsuyo, followed by Suzanne Hume, followed by John, it's like Botaroff.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity for me to talk. I'm so thrilled to see this, that Councilman John Franklin offered this resolution. I am so happy to hear this. I am so thrilled. You don't know how happy I am. It's good. Good you are on the right side of history with regard to this aspect of environment. Thank you so much. I do thank you for your effort to minimize the coastal pollutions, and I believe your next step can be cutting down dirty fossil energy usage within the city and introducing an aggressive plan to expand renewable and clean energies as other cities in San Diego County already started. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Suzanne Hume, followed by John Botaroff.
Hi, and thank you so much. My name is Suzanne Hume. I'm a teacher, and I work with students in the Vista Unified School District, as well as other districts as well. I'm a reading specialist. And we have a nonprofit that is called CleanEarthForKids.org. We have a list of 25 items that the kids have come up with, and banning offshore drilling is on the list. As well as CCE, 100% renewable and non-toxic playgrounds. Anyway, I just wanted to thank you so much for bringing up this very important topic. Students are very interested in keeping beaches clean and safe. I'm from Springfield, Missouri originally, and my friend's son came out to Santa Barbara to attend school because he was on a soccer scholarship. And he loves California, but let me tell you how heartbroken he was when he arrived in Santa Barbara. When people envision California, as I did long ago before I moved here, I thought about the beautiful and safe, wonderful ocean and the shoreline, and I never dreamt that Santa Barbara would have the destruction of the beach that it has, and dirty sand and oil rigs and all of that. And so let me tell you, so Noah was really disappointed, and we all were. And so we owe it to our kids, and that's why my husband and I, John Bottorff, started Clean Earth for Kids, because it's really important to us to make sure that we hear what they are saying. And what they are saying clearly is, please protect our air, please protect our water, please protect our beaches, and it's up to us to do it. We're the adults that need to take the responsible actions. We will be going to Oceanside school districts as well as city council and city councils in other cities and across the United States with a very important message that we must protect children's health. They're exposed to toxics all the time. That's why we're trying to get no idling banned and things in school districts, because of the exposures our children have to face. Let's not have Vista not take action on this very important measure. And thank you so much for this time, this venue, all that you do, and bringing this forward. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you. John? And John is our last speaker.
Thank you very much. My name is John Bottorff. Like my wife said, we're with Clean Earth for Kids. I want to support the ban of offshore drilling. One of the ideas when you look at things like this is that oil pipelines and oil drilling platforms leak oil. It's not a question of if, it is a question of when. And if you look at the Gulf of Mexico, they still have tons and tons of oil sitting at the bottom of the ocean. And every time there's a storm, all that oil gets dredged back up to the beaches, destroys the beach, destroys the wildlife. We cannot have that in California. Our tourism dollars, our fishing industry, our farm industries are far too valuable. So please endorse this. Thank you.
Thank you. With that, that's the end of our speakers. So I will go to Councilmember Rigby.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I want to say thank you to all of our speakers who took the time and the energy to come out here tonight and speak on this subject, which is a very important subject. I'm a native San Diegan. I grew up here. I grew up on the beaches, flip-flops every day, all day, my toes in the sand. And I love San Diego. I love Vista. Our first speaker talked about how much she loved Vista. Absolutely. And we want to make sure that our environment is taken care of and that it's up to us to be the good stewards of it. So I appreciate everything that you all said and your sentiments for that. And I agree, and I want to say thank you to our Deputy Mayor for bringing this forward wholeheartedly.
Deputy Mayor Franklin.
I just wanted to also thank everybody who came to speak this evening, and again, all the members of the South Vista communities who really worked to bring this issue and so many other important issues to the forefront. Thank you for all that you do. And I would renew my motion to adopt the resolution.
Did I have a second already? Okay. Okay, and with that, I thank everybody for bringing this forward to us, and we appreciate it, and we support our beaches, our favorite place to go in the summer, huh? Well, actually in the winter, too. It's okay. Just don't get in the water unless you have a wetsuit. Okay, so please cast your votes. That motion passes unanimously. Are these my speakers? Okay. Thank you. The next thing on our agenda are our oral communications. And so each speaker is given 3 minutes to speak on matters that are not on the agenda. So please limit your comments to issues that are within the jurisdiction of our City Council. Please note that the City Council is prohibited from discussing an item. We can't talk about an item that is not on the agenda, or we can't answer questions that are posed by the speakers. So with that, our first speaker is Carl Hughes. He'll be followed by Becky Johnson, followed by Matt. If you'll follow the same process, the other two will line up over here so we can get through these. Okay, Carl.
Hello, Mayor Ritter and City Council. It's good to be back. I haven't spoke since about May.
And so I think last time I spoke, I talked about how there was that claim that no one has ever died from marijuana. And so that's a claim that people who want to legalize marijuana like to use, that no one has ever died. And so I highlighted 2 instances where that was the case, where people have died, such as BHO hash oil explosions and fatal DUI car crashes. And so I want to get more in depth about this claim. And so I think people like to think about overdosing on a certain drug. So people like to think, oh, nobody has ever overdosed on marijuana. And so while that may be true at the current time, we have seen with commercialized industrial marijuana that the concentration of THC has increased above 70% with products such as shatter, butter, wax, dabs, and vapes. And so, however, should it follow that because there is an absence of deaths from a product that it makes it a safe product? There have been situations where people have overdosed from marijuana. They haven't died, luckily. It's just they've been sent to the hospital where they luckily recover most of the time. So we often worry about possible contaminants in marijuana, such as pesticides, herbicides, and heavy metals. And we see in illegal grow operations in Northern California where they're using banned chemicals and pesticides, so they're polluting the environment and also causing harm to those who use it. And so the assertions also that we should regulate it like alcohol. However, we should take a look at the societal effects of alcohol, and there have been about 88,000 deaths from excessive uses of alcohol. However, only 2,200 of those deaths are from overdosing on alcohol. So that is from the CDC. So we must think that the CDC considers that deaths from alcohol are from the diseases associated with use. And we also see that with tobacco, which accounts for 480,000 deaths of Americans per year. And these are caused by diseases that come with tobacco usage, not necessarily from overdosing on a cigarette. I don't think we would say that cigarettes don't kill anybody. And so the reality is that we know about the smoking's effects on the body. And it seems like right now we're pushing another method of smoking, which is marijuana, on our society. And so as we try to think about tobacco and consumption and trying to control that, should we really open the doors for a new leafy, green, natural plant? People like to claim that marijuana is natural, but just because something is natural doesn't mean that it's safe. We have, poisonous mushrooms, poisonous plants, so we don't consume those. And yes, marijuana is more deadly and dangerous than peanuts. This is actually a picture from an illegal marijuana delivery service.
I need you to wrap up. Your time is up.
And it says marijuana is safer than peanuts. Thank you very much, Council.
Okay. Thank you. I don't see Becky Johnson. Is she not here? Oh, and Matt. I don't see Matt lined up either over there. I also need Terry. Is it I can't read the writing very well. Looks like Losodes? Okay.
Good evening. My name is Becky Johnson. And as a parent and business owner, I have read with great interest the numerous media accounts of the lawsuits in Vista from pot profiteers. It seems unfortunate that we weren't able to alert the public going into November's election that would be a likely outcome when big pot money targets a city. A costly use of the city's staff time and resources to combat the greed of this industry. However, now we can let citizens and businesses know what is coming their way. For marijuana businesses, it is my hope that citizens will know when and how to contact the city regarding marijuana businesses that will locate near their businesses and homes so that they will properly and fairly know how and when their livelihood and quality of life will be affected. I hope the noticing will be clear and comprehensive to all and that the city will utilize all its notification procedures, their website and media. Perhaps even flyers into those commercial areas that marijuana businesses most likely will target, or city newsletter inserts for businesses like Target and Dollar Tree. I know the City Council expressed its concern regarding the marijuana businesses normalizing and commercializing marijuana use before our young people's eyes. When I see the City Council members' participation in youth activities around town, I know that you want to protect young people from the predatory marijuana industry, whose tactics look remarkably similar to tobacco. Just like the tobacco industry, the marijuana industry will only profit if more people use marijuana for the first time, preferably young people, so that their use can be prolonged over a longer time. And for those who already use marijuana, their use will increase to daily use, and that for daily marijuana users, they will become more heavy or frequent users, and then on to addiction and a steady customer. I am hoping that the city would consider putting into place counter marijuana prevention messages, since the pot business will undoubtedly be bombarding our city with their pro-marijuana use messages. Thank you.
Thank you. Matt, followed by Terry Losodes, I think it is, followed by Suzanne Hume.
Hello, City Council. Marijuana is bad, okay? I want to talk to you about an issue that is affecting a new reality here in Vista and in almost all the country. And that is the changing of the clocks. Spring forward. I don't know if this is daylight savings time or I don't know which one it is. I'm really glad we are voted to get rid of that, and I hope that the federal government allows us to do that. It's really unnatural. So at 5:30 p.m. today, I was sitting in traffic while you guys were starting the meeting. I can say it was a beautiful day, though. Southern California is lovely. But traffic, not so nice, and it's also always going to be there at 5:30. Also, people want to be outside at 5:30. Perhaps the City Council could look at having summer hours, especially if council members sort of want to encourage participation and attendance. I think the current time of 5:30 is actually discouraging participation, and I hope the City Council has a discussion about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Terry? Is there Terry? It doesn't say Woods.
It's my code name on there. No,
what does it say?
It says Woods. Well.
No, that doesn't say Woods.
Is there another one with my name on it?
No, it
That's
says L. Okay, I'll take it.
Hi, my name's Terry Woods, resident of the city of Vista. At 1:30 in the morning on Sunday, 2 transit people broke into a home in Carlsbad. And during that robbery, they pretty much murdered the 64-year-old woman who lived there. The reason I bring that up is those 2 people who did this crime were picked up in San Bernardino for robbery. They had $70,000 worth of materials that they had stole from the house. They went to court, gave them parole, and they were on their way. If I stole $70,000 from a bank or anything like that, I'd be in jail. These guys get out on bail. I know there's nothing you can do about that personally, but I think we better be aware that the transient people and people like this are getting more rights than us people who pay the bills. Amen.
Thank you. Suzanne Hume, followed by John Bottroff.
Hi, thanks so much. What I'd like to do is to email you our cleanearthforkids.org action plan for cities. So we'll be emailing each of you our action plan, and I'd like to just take a second to talk about non-toxic Irvine, non-toxic Carlsbad, non-toxic San Juan Capistrano, Tustin. Cities all over the United States are becoming non-toxic, and so there are 4 staff scientists through University of California, Irvine, that have helped Irvine, which looks amazing. My husband takes the train there every day, so we do spend some time up there. The golf courses, the parks, everything looks absolutely pristine. Non-toxic is possible. We even have steam weeding technology. There's going to be at the pesticide convention in Escondido a machine called a steam weeder, and it just uses steam, not chemicals. Our kids should not be exposed to this in our parks and in our schools because we have the technology to do something different. A steam weeder, so you pay $7,000 for something. Well, you're going to save money on the costs for the equipment plus the people that are applying it and the kids. There's so many benefits to going non-toxic. So you can look up non-toxic neighborhoods, non-toxic Irvine. These staff scientists are available to come and meet with you. We are currently working with the city of Oceanside. and the Parks Department to make this a reality for Oceanside like it is in Carlsbad. We feel like, the students wherever they live should be able to do a cartwheel or sit on the grass, play soccer, and have fun without endangering their lives with toxic pesticides, and it is possible. Even cities with a smaller budget, such as San Juan Capistrano, Tustin, etc., can pull this off, and it's very doable. We'll also be going to meet with school districts. Students are participating in the efforts. People were sick and couldn't come tonight and tired, but students I'm talking about, but the kids are very interested in making this a reality. So I wanted to talk with you about that. And so I mentioned our 25 action plan, which I'm super excited that number 23, offshore drilling, I can mark that off the list for Vista. So, woo, super excited. So so we do have a list, and you can see that I have the CCE button on. We do support community choice energy because we want the non-for-profit. We like that. We like money go back to the local communities, and we like cut of pollution and emissions. So we're excited about that. We also support a 100% renewable energy goal. And no idling ordinances in the city. We would like to educate the public about the risks of no idling to protect our students. Thank you so much for your time.
Okay, John.
Hello again. I'm here to talk about idling. So in the state of California and throughout the United States, the average person idles in their car, so I'm not talking about in traffic, just sits in the parking lot picking up their kids at school for 16 minutes a day. So every minute of idling dumps as much carbon monoxide as 3 packs of cigarettes. So every time you see a big line of cars outside of school picking up their kids, that's basically they're just smoking packs of cigarettes, dumping all of those toxins into that school area. And we're very protective, particularly in California, about our kids, right, about protect them from smoking. But we don't do anything to protect them from idling. And car exhaust is incredibly deadly. There's an incredible amount of stuff in there from carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, benzene, formaldehyde, particulate matter. It's horrible for kids. Asthma, emphysema, being exposed to exhaust increases your odds of getting all of that. I would ask the City Council to look at no idling legislation. There's a number of states and cities across the United States that have already done so, not just in trucks, but in personal cars as well. I would definitely ask you guys to direct staff to look into that. And there's a number of signs available. There's a number of cities that have actually had students do contests and use those signs for art and put them in signs. Thank you so much.
Thank you. With that as our last speaker, so with that we will go to remarks. So I will start with, I'll start with, who did I start with last time? Corinne? Okay, we'll start with Councilmember Rigby.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Again, I want to say thank you to everyone who came out tonight to speak to us, to share your voice, to hear what we're doing here. And I'm really impressed that we still have this many here at the end of the meeting. We don't always have anybody here at the end of the meeting. It's not always being up here on this side of the dais. It's not always easy to talk about things. It's not always easy to make decisions. It's not always cut and dry, black and white, when you're up here and you're thinking about things and for the heart of Vista. And I just want you to know that all of us, all 5 of us, and I commend all of my colleagues as well, we all have a heart for Vista. And any differences that we have are not differences of the heart at all. Perhaps differences of the mind, differences of ideology, but never of the heart. And so I just wanted to let you all know that, and I'm so glad that you're here tonight. Our staff works exceedingly hard on behalf of all of us and all of you and us in our city, and I want to say thank you to staff, and again, welcome our newest staff member. And I'll be going to public safety at Sandag. We'll have our monthly meeting this week. And last week, the mayor and I were at the Sandag board retreat talking about regional planning. Our county, just like we have a general plan in the city, the county has a regional plan, and it is time for the new plan to come up for revision. So we're going to be talking about that more over the next few months, and we'll be bringing some of that back for discussion, I think, at some point. So just wanted to let you know. Thank you.
Deputy Mayor. Councilmember Green.
All right, I also just want to thank everyone for showing up. Thank all our speakers tonight. Had a lot of speakers. You all did fantastic, by the way, so thanks for speaking. I also want to personally thank all of our newly appointed commissioners. It is, some of them are still here, and thank you guys for being here and showing up, and thank you guys for taking on that responsibility. It is an unpaid position, and in some cases, more paperwork than one person should have to read. So thank you guys for that. The last thing I want to do is thank my colleagues. I think that Councilmember Rigby put it fantastically. We all have a heart for Vista, and we're not going to agree on everything, but I love that we can at least get it out there and still accomplish business. And I know that we're making great progress for our city, and that all the decisions that are made up here are made with the heart of and through the lens of, is this best for Vista? So we have amazing city council, fantastic mayor. I want to commend her on being the Woman of the Year again. It's a big deal. So thank you for all that you've done for Vista. Greatly appreciated. And I hope that you guys all have a great night and enjoy Taco Tuesday somewhere amazing in the city of Vista. Have a great night.
Councilmember Contreras. Yeah, we have a fantastic time up here, really going through the items that come before us. And this is our time to have a public discussion. This is where all the whole discussion happens. So I really appreciate everybody coming. I know everybody out here has some more friends, so bring a friend next time. Let's fill up these seats. And I just want to say one thing. I had my town hall, and it was fantastic. I was a little worried because the weather was kind of, rainy, and that really scares Southern Californians. But we ended up having a really great crowd, and I look forward to the next one. It is June 5th at the Linda Rhodes Center. Same format. Doors open at 6 p.m. Meeting starts at 6:30. And I look to continuously grow the communication that we have between this institution of the city and the community. So thank you so much for coming here, and everybody that's participating and making Vista a better place to live, and all my colleagues up here. I really do appreciate the discussions that we have. Thank you.
Thank you. And we actually have another Woman of the Year here, which is Councilmember Contreras, who two Women of the Year here. So congratulations to Councilmember Contreras, who was recognized as the 76th Assembly District's 2019 Woman of the Year. Named to this honor by Assemblymember Tasha Borner-Horvath, Councilmember Contreras was distinguished for her work as an entrepreneur, for being a lifelong Vista resident, and for being the first Latina to serve on the Vista City Council. Congratulations on that. She was formerly, She was formally recognized on the assembly floor at the state capitol in Sacramento last Monday, so congratulations to her. That was great. So, let's see, I have a couple of announcements. And I will tell you, I did go to Sandag, which is really an interesting thing. And I took some notes there. And the one thing that kind of stood out at me, they asked us to move beyond our common thinking and tribal thinking, and to have a wider vision, and to not to think about what we've done so far, but to think, what's in the future. Not to go back and look at what we've done, but to think of new ways. And they talked about, driverless cars, and not just driverless cars, but things that are not have a driver, that you just get in and they take you, and somebody at the other end on the computer computes where you're going. So, but they said, people think it's not coming, or it's coming in 15 or 10, it's coming like 5 years. They have the technology already, and they're working on it in different areas. But so it's kind of scary, but it's kind of, because I'm getting older, I know that one day my kids will take my driver's license away, and so I'm looking forward to it. One of these days, yeah. So, okay, so moving on here. The Vista Library will be providing a formal event dresses to teenage high school students on April 20th. So they're currently collecting gently used gowns through April 15th. So if any of you have a formal gown or something that the teenagers can wear to their formal, that would be great. So for more information or to donate, check Princess Project SD, princessprojectsd.org, or contact the Vista Library at 760-643-5100. Also, the city is joining the San Diego Creek to Bay cleanup on Saturday, April 27th. The Vista cleanup site is located at Buena Creek. Where in Buena Creek? Do you know? I just said it's located in Buena Creek. Do you know?
Over by
The parking lot at Burlington over in Shadow Ridge. Yeah, the Burlington parking lot. Oh, thank you. That's better than just saying Boynett Creek. It's like it runs from here to there. So anyway, okay, so that's Saturday, April 27th. That's a month away. The Vista cleanup site is located at Boynett Creek. To learn more or to register, please visit online at creektobay.org. creektobay.org. So is that, oh, I have one other thing here. Oh, this is important. The city has received the Wastewater Collection System of the Year Award presented by the San Diego, California Water Environment Association. Both the City of Vista and the Buena Vista Sanitation District were recognized for having 0 public sewer spills in 2018 and for providing value to customers through its asset management program. The State Clean Water Environment Association announced today the City of Vista has received the Wastewater Collection System of the Year Award in the state of California in the medium-sized category. So we can pat ourselves on the back. There's yes for that. And with that, I'm going to turn it to my city manager.
Thank you, Mayor. At our Leadership Academy that we run twice a year, we brag about our sewer system. And for those leadership members,
we have a wonderful sewer system.
How great our sewer system is. It's hard to brag typically about sewer, but
you can't really see it, you know.
that is proof. So congratulations to all the hardworking staff in both Public Works and Engineering on that feat. Also, congratulations to the Wave Water Park, who received the 5-Star Aquatic Safety Award for the 2018 summer season. And so the Wave is a very safe place to be. If you've ever been there with children or just by yourself, you'll know that there's 24 to 30 lifeguards on at any one time, and it's a great place for kids to have fun in the summer. But this is the highest ranking, the Elite Award, and so we're very proud of the Wave Water Park staff as well. And as all of you know, the Moonlight has the summer season, but what a lot of people don't seem to know yet is that the Moonlight also has our films and our concert series that take place in April, May, typically in October and November. And so we're kicking it off this year on April 11th with what's called Classic Albums Live, and that will be the Eagles, Hotel California, and then the following night will be Fleetwood Mac Rumors. And so
these are bands, right?
So this is a band that plays note for note Hotel California live, and it sounds exactly like the album. And then they take an intermission, and then in the second half, they play all of the popular Eagles songs that they didn't already play under Hotel California. They'll do the same thing for Fleetwood Mac Rumors. And so I think last time when we had the Beatles and Led Zeppelin, we averaged close to 1,500 people at the Moonlight. And so we're expecting a very large crowd for both of those shows. But that's going to be the kickoff of our Moonlight Presents series. And then last, I just wanted to welcome our new finance director who is here under D1, Mike Sylvia, back there in the back. And just this is his first week. He started on Monday. And just want to say we're very pleased that he's joining our team. Mike's got a great background in both the public and private sectors in finance. And so we're happy to have him, and just welcome aboard, Mike.
So he started on Monday, and they had to come and present to us on Tuesday.
Yeah, I think he thanks you for not asking him any questions.
Welcome, Mike. Okay, with that, does our city attorney have anything? Daryl? No? How about our city clerk? Kathy? No, nothing? Okay, anything? Nothing else? With that, we are adjourned at 7:04.